Oh, it says we're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Needles at the Ready Live. I am Kevin.
I'm Ray.
And this
is
is
Skylar.
Skylar.
Yeah. Can you guys hear us okay? Who's asking already if we've already eaten? Is it us? There we go. Perfectly. Great. Thanks, Fiber Hustle.
Yes, thank you guys. So just we'll start by saying, obviously there's a bird. It could get noisy. So if that's not your thing, this may not be an episode that you want to watch.
Yeah.
Because he yells, he'll sing, he'll whistle. He's going to fly around. You may see some bird butt.
He's not. So we have our actual computer down here, the computer monitor, plus the microphone. So these are things that he hasn't seen yet. So he's a little apprehensive.
Yes.
So he may not. We'll see. We'll see exactly what happens. Who knows? Anyway, hi, friends.
Yes, hello. So we'll say hello to some.
Here. Oh, yeah. Michelle from Woolens and Nosh is here.
Tanya from Les Garçons Boutique.
Oh, hello, Tanya.
Hi, Jen. Naomi, Star, hello.
Oh, and I believe, if I can get a confirmation, we're on the big screen over at Skane Yarn Shop in Rhode Island.
We are. So hello, all of our friends at
Hello,
Skane.
all of our friends from Skane.
So we should start today by congratulating Ray because he is officially done with his master's degree.
Okay.
Class ended today, and he submitted his final project earlier in the week.
I'm just waiting for a grade.
Is all done.
I'm all done.
So congratulations.
Oh,
good job.
Did you plan that?
No.
Oh, that was really sweet of you. Oh, I left my coffee in the kitchen.
I'll grab it.
Okay, thanks. So anyway, while we wait for some more peeps to join us, we thought because we were a week behind, we thought it would be really cool to do a live during thanks everyone, during our normal podcast week to get us back on track. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And so, yeah, here we are.
Here we are.
And a lot of you did have been asking to see Skylar because you hear him during our podcast. And like we said in the last episode, he doesn't come upstairs. So we're going to give it a try. But clearly he's getting a little bit more comfortable. So we'll see how it goes. So anyway, we had asked for you all to submit some questions on one of our YouTube posts in the community tab. And you all came out in droves. So
yes,
thank you so much for all of your questions. We have quite a few of them.
Hi, Kate and Aaron, and congratulations to our friends Kate and Aaron.
Yeah, congratulations, Kate and Aaron. They have a little baby.
They did. So yay for our friends.
Yay. Okay, Skylar, we're not going to be kissing all day. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this. So we have we kind of narrowed things down to our the top 40 questions.
Yes.
And yeah, Nader Nation, power on. Okay, I feel very disorganized. Plus the air conditioning is not on, so it's going to get very warm very quickly.
Is. Hi, Angie.
Okay, so what we'll do is we did turn on, so if you're watching this after the live, we did turn on the chat function, so it should save the chat. You can always go back and rewatch if you're catching up.
Yep.
And that's why we thought we would have questions already pre-submitted to us, so that those of you who are not on the live don't get confused with who's asking a question, who's not. We will answer questions that people post in the chat as well.
Well, we have a ton of questions here.
And of course, they're organized. So we have some categories.
So I was thinking, why don't we go okay.
Someone's driving by.
You might hear some music and some cars as well, since we're in the living room.
It is summertime.
I was thinking, why don't we pull from one category? There.
Do you want to tell them what the categories are?
So the categories that we have are getting to know you, knitting and craft journey,
getting to know you,
preferences and experiences, yarn techniques and tools, fun and personal, Skylar, and pet questions. So we will be pulling from those 6 categories.
Yeah, and thank you all for the congratulations. I'm seeing a lot of congratulations in the chat, so I really appreciate that.
Yay. All right. Yeah. So we're going to start.
Okay.
The easy one.
The easy one.
How did you meet?
How did we meet? So the OGs in the podcast probably heard this story a few times. and can probably as we're answering the question, let's see if any of the people in the chat can also answer the question as well for those, because I see Dobby Loves Yarn just said, oh, I know.
Debbie.
Oh, sorry. Debbie Loves Yarn. My contacts are in and everything. Okay. Yeah. So yes, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so picture it. Blue Sky Diner, Stratford, Connecticut.
2001. January.
It was snowing on the ground. It was snow on the ground and was snowing.
Yes.
And I was at the diner because there's not really much to do. Well, there used to be not much to do here in good old Stratford. So Blue Sky Diner was like the hangout spot for most people. So I was at the diner with my friends. Kevin was at the diner with his friends. And then
I think you were already there and we were coming in.
You were coming in.
Right?
I looked out. Yes, because before you came inside, we're sitting like by the windows looking out, and Kevin and his friends are like having this like snowball fight or playing in the snow. I don't know.
Snowball fight.
I thought it was kind of adorable. And like he kind of caught my eye. 25 years changes a person. So this is not what it was. I'm just kidding. So anyway, yeah, I don't know what it is. I am a very shy person usually.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came in, they had their food, and like we were sitting and like having our stuff. And then I kept looking over and I was just like, he's like, seems very interesting. Blah, 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 blah.
I am.
And so this was back in the day with AIM, America Online Instant Messenger. Do y'all remember how fun that was?
So fun.
And then it was also the time where you can have multiple phone lines coming into your house. And
well, I think you still could.
Oh, probably. You probably could. But that was like the thing. So as a high schooler, right? A teenager. I had just graduated high school.
You were 19. No.
I was 18.
Yeah, 19.
Was I?
No, you were 20.
No, I was just.
You were 20 because it was the year I turned 21.
Oh, 21. Yeah, I was 20. Yeah, because I was born in 81. August, if anybody's asking. No, so I wasn't quite yet 20. I was 19.
Oh, yeah.
So, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I just went, as we were leaving, I wrote down my AIM name and my phone number, my private phone number that went into my bedroom for Kevin. And I think I just said, I don't even remember what exactly I said, but something like,
I don't remember either.
I don't remember. I find you really interesting,
and was it
I think you're really cute.
On a placemat?
It was on the placemat. The paper placemat. And so anyway, I gave it to him, and then he reached out that very night.
And the rest
is history,
as they say.
Mm-hmm. We've probably spent
the longest time that we've spent apart was probably when I went to Texas. So that was a week.
I don't think you didn't make it the full week.
No, I did.
You left that day early, remember?
No.
Yeah, because of your roommate was.
No, I flew back with my roommate.
You did?
Yeah. We flew back the same time.
Oh, you wanted to leave early.
I wanted to leave early because he was.
We were looking for flights.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our story.
And then, when did you each learn to knit, and who taught you?
Oh, that's a good one.
So, I technically.
Hold on, just to clarify, yes, somebody had asked, did you say you met in 2021? No. Sorry,
no,
we probably did say that.
2001.
It was 2001.
Yeah.
Yes, 2001.
So let's see. So I really started knitting, it's now, I think, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
No. No, I always forget when I create, I know I don't have my phone. I don't remember when I created my Ravelry page. Was it 2003? No, 2017. So 15 years ago. No, that's a lie too.
Would you like me to check your Ravelry page?
Yeah, I don't remember when I made it.
Okay.
So either way, when I was younger, my grandfather was a knitter and a crocheter. He made all of my grandmother's sweaters and all of the crocheted Afghans that they had in the house he made. I specifically remember one that was a granny square one, and all the granny squares were sunflowers. So the middle of it was brown. The petals were yellow. And then I think the outside of the granny square was green, if I'm not mistaken. So he tried to teach me both knitting and crocheting as a kid, maybe when I was around the age of 10. And I know I didn't pick up knitting because it was the long aluminum, like Bowie needles, or Susan Bates or whatever, like those really large aluminum ones.
Aren't they Boyle?
Boyle, maybe?
B-O-Y-L-E?
Yeah.
And it was 2013, by the way.
2013. Okay. So 12 years.
Yeah.
And then I remember crocheting, and I remember I kept making crochet chains, and then I stopped. And then in 2013, I was home. I was at my apartment in Shelton. I was reading a book by Deborah Geary, which you can't buy anymore. This book was the third in the series, and it was called A Reckless Witch.
Yeah. Oh, such a good series.
And in that series, this family who we've come to know through the first two books, whenever a child was born, everybody in the family knit a 12 by 12 square, and they put it together and created a welcoming blanket. And what was really great in this book is that there were kids who knit, and then a lot of the men in the series were knitters. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I literally just left the apartment. I lived about 5 minutes from a Walmart, went to Walmart, picked up some aluminum needles and a skein or two of like a Red Heart Super Saver that was white and it had tinsel in it. And I just went to YouTube. I'm pretty confident I watched a website or videos on a website that's no longer around called New Stitch a Day, and taught myself how to knit and purl. And I would just do whatever I wanted in this scarf. I would maybe knit 10 rows and throw a purl row in. Maybe knit 2 rows and then throw like 5 rows of purl in. Whatever I felt like doing just to get in the flow. And my friend Megan still has that scarf.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
And then I stopped. Like I tried to do like mitered squares. I tried a hat that didn't work because I didn't know how to use DPNs. And then I didn't really start again until our sister-in-law was pregnant with Reese. And at the same time, my dad was going through chemo. Mm-hmm. So that's when I really, really got into knitting, and I haven't stopped since then.
Yeah. For me, I tried knitting when Kevin did, because I thought that was really interesting what he was doing. And I couldn't make it work. And then Kevin had recommended, what about crochet? I had never even heard the term crochet. I said, well, what's the difference? And he says, you're only using a hook, one thing. And I was like, oh, one thing sounds better than 2 things. So then I picked up crochet, and I found, gosh, what's her name now?
Bella Coco.
Bella Coco on YouTube. She has amazing tutorials. I love her voice. It's so soothing. So I learned how to crochet, and she crochets, she's from like the UK. So it's all UK terms. So instead of a single crochet, it's a double crochet. And then instead of double, it's a treble crochet. So I learned how to crochet using all UK terms. And Skylar's very excited. Sorry for anybody that does have headphones on. And so I just kind of did my own thing. I didn't really follow any patterns. I did create a couple of hats here or there, and crocheted on and off for probably 10 years or so. And then what I liked about crochet is because I felt like I could just kind of do my own thing. Kevin used to get a little bit frustrated with it.
I'm a pattern follower. I have a really hard time straying from a pattern.
Yeah. So
hi Table 10.
Table 10. So anyway, then we come here to this house, and Kevin started the podcast in 2020. And I was like just starting to get into knitting and trying it again. I was really determined. We lot of you heard the stories, but Kevin was very into, we still are, but Kevin was very into knitting podcasts, and so had his favorites. And I got sucked in, and like the Grocery Girls really they were knitting a bunch of socks, and that really like got me excited. And then at that point, Kevin had talked about starting his own podcast, and I was like, let me just try it again. And for some reason, I grabbed the Ross hat pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry and his website. And I had some acrylic yarn. It's actually on my Ravelry page, my very first project.
Coffee Talk socks are good.
Coffee Talk socks are amazing. And then Skylar's not getting the attention. And so then, so I did a hat, and I remember like sending pictures to Kevin because he was working. I must have been like still at the bedside. So I was doing 3 12-hour shifts. And I remember getting to the crown of the hat, and I did it on DPNs. And I sent Kevin a text with a picture, and I was like, oh God, help me. I don't know what I'm doing. Look at this. I thought it was like wild. Oh, thanks so much, Michael, for popping that in there. And so anyway, that was it. I was so addicted. And like, I think my second project or third project, one of my early projects was socks. And then that was it. It just took off. I love it.
So while we break from there, let's say hello to our friends at the Yarn Room Shenanigans and Woolen Wishes. Hello, ladies.
Hello, everyone. Oh my God. I want to hang out with everybody. Imagine if we were all together in like one giant room.
All right. I'm just throwing this out there and opening up a can. I was just thinking we should do a Let's Hear It for the Boys Zoom.
Okay.
Maybe at the end of the month. We'll have to talk about it, but I think that would be a fun thing.
Yeah, because it ends in September. So why don't we do it in August? It's like right in the middle. We started in June.
That would be chaos, but it would be a lot of fun to see what everybody's working on. So next question is favorite project of all time. Oh, that's such a tough question. It's a hard one. I have 3.
I have.
And they're for different reasons. They're favorites.
Yeah, I agree. Same. Do you want to go with one, or you have? I can go first because you have Skylar. This was one of my most favorite projects because I feel like it's the most advanced thing that I've ever done. I did. I don't think you didn't take part.
No.
Bare Naked Wools had a like shawl along kind of thing, like a hap along.
An MCAL.
An MCAL. Yeah. Mystery Knit Along. Thank you. And each week we got a different clue, and we got a new type of yarn to open. And this was the pattern. I knit this last 2 years ago. This is a hap shawl. I did the square version. And I don't know. It's one of the most striking things I think that I've ever knit. I loved opening up new yarns and like different things. Like there's Jacob yarn in here, all different breeds, and it was so like sheepy and wonderful, and like the technique was really neat. It was really one of the first patterns that I did like significant lace with. There's a Pico bind off, which I had never done before. So it was, and I think, and the colors it's all natural. And I think it's just stunning. There is a triangle version of this as well.
I'm going to interrupt for a moment. What's the name of the pattern?
I don't remember. It is released now. It's like,
hold on, I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, it's something hap. But this is you could do a triangle version or the square. I wanted to do the square version, so you get double the yarn, obviously. But it's still, isn't this a gorgeous, like even a triangular shawl? So that's one of my favorite projects. It is very rustic feeling. So I don't know how necessarily. Well, it would be cozy. It's not. It doesn't feel that bad, to be honest. I just thought it was stunning. I love the color. This is like, these colors are right in my wheelhouse as well. So that's one. That's one of my favorites. Did you find it? There it is. It's called the Haplander Triangle.
Haplander Triangle. But that's the triangle version.
There might be and there's the Haplander square.
Okay, so Haplander triangle
is
or Haplander square, both are from Bare Naked Wools.
Yeah, and I believe Ann Hansen, who designed this pattern, who's the owner of Bare Naked Wools. Haplander, they came up with that name because it was like an Outlander reference. Because it was very like Scottish, I believe. Scottish influences.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next one?
Man, Michael is on it.
I know, right?
What? Michael is linking
Valerie.
all of the... We're not having show notes, by the way. So Michael is linking the patterns in the chat. So for those of you who are watching this after the live, you can always go back and see if that's there. Or you can always just send us a message. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Is this your next one?
Do you want to go with one, or were we
Sure.
just doing all of mine at once?
So I'll do mine. This is my...
Don't sound so disappointed.
No, I don't know. It's really hard to pick, but I show this all the time, but it really is. It's...
I know. I didn't pull this one.
Versus Unite.
This is a good one, too.
Like... Oh, it goes this way, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
This thing is literally...
Mm-hmm. It is so good. You are amazing at putting colors together.
Thank you. I love this thing.
Yeah.
It is... I'm showing the wrong side. It's a fun knit. It's big, but easy to wear. Like...
Yeah. It is. I find it very easy to wear as well.
Like just a
Yeah.
quick little shoosh,
Mm-hmm.
and you're good to go. It takes such a long time.
Oh, there's Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. But this is the shawl I tell everybody to knit. It's my favorite shawl.
Mm-hmm.
I think it uses 5 skeins of yarn. You definitely have some left over. I mean, I know that this is a combo of... Oh, who is this all by? Words. Lolo did it. Words.
Oh, yeah.
No, Earwax.
Earwax.
Earwax. The red is Lolo did it. Words. But yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful.
Well, Lolo did do all that
shawl.
Yeah, that might be all your quotable Dumbledore. No, that's not.
This isn't. This is
Is that Nancy's?
No. Oh my gosh, I forget who it is. I know the name of it, but I don't know.
Do you have a Ravelry page?
Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
It looks complicated. It's actually the most complicated part of this shawl is this section right here. Getting started here is the most complicated part because you're picking up stitches between these two sections.
You're kind of going back and forth. As it grows, it becomes a lot easier.
So it's just this initial cast on area that's complicated.
Yeah.
And it's not complicated. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's finicky. But other than that, the rest of it's super easy. This is probably the longest section here.
Section 1.
Once you get through section one, I think the rest just kind of flies.
It really is amazing. And Stephen West has a ton of really good tutorials. So there should, like, you can definitely watch it. And then Aaron just said that there's a swatch, a mini swatch pattern out, which of course is perfect for a bird shawl for Skylar.
And then somebody had
Skylar's
said, save me, I don't know anything about knitting shawls and I need to knit one for my mother-in-law. So we're going to talk about that. That's one of the questions that came up is what's a good like beginner shawl?
Sure.
Well, no, we're not done with our favorites.
Oh, okay.
Do you have...
I didn't even bring it down.
Let
me go get it.
Okay. So I'm going to go on to my next favorite because I think this is visually the most stunning thing I've made is my Slipstravaganza. I think the colors in this are perfection. I think it looks like stained glass. And this is the most fun I had knitting a shawl. Like, it's a beast. But this is, like, hands down my favorite visually beautiful piece I've made. And there is a pulled stitch somewhere in here.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the light blue somewhere.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's in this section. And I've been trying to fix it for like months now. And I don't know how to fix it.
Well, it's okay. As long as it's just pulled and not broken, but you want to tuck it back in so it doesn't get snagged on anything.
Actually, maybe it fixed itself.
Great job. Look at that. It was a passive fix.
But yeah, that's my next favorite.
Slipstravaganza is another one that's on my list as well. It was our first MCAL
Yes.
with Stephen West. And there were so many like new to us techniques in this shawl. I think like the MCALs are great because the tutorials are fantastic, like we said. Oh, here's mine. Just randomly was next to me, or next to Kevin. Very, very different, but I also love my colors as well.
Yeah.
They're just a little bit more like earthy and like muted.
Yeah, for sure.
But I wear this shawl the most out of any shawl that I ever wear. Usually at home, because it is pretty large.
Yeah.
Or at like a festival or something like that. It's definitely a statement piece, but it also, you can wrap yourself up. I like to wear it kind of like a poncho almost. Especially like in the wintertime, if I have to like run outside or something, you can kind of like, this is a bad version of it.
No, but that would be
But
how
I would
you
like
do
wear
it,
it as like a poncho. And it's so cozy and warm. And this yarn is so soft. But yeah, I think the techniques, like I would recommend the MCALs that Stephen West does, because there's always something to learn and always something like new to try. And it's a good confidence booster.
Yes,
You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
And to your point, like I think it's because of like different reasons. Like this was, so my next one is the Radari. It may not be the most worn sweater that I have, but it's one that I'm like probably the most proud of because it was my first colorwork sweater.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if I would be able to do it. It was bottom up, and I did it.
That's right.
Yeah, and so it's a little wrinkled because it's been in my closet. But it's so good. I think it's gorgeous.
It's so good.
Yeah. Yep.
And you got that as a kit.
No, I bought this separate. I bought all the yarn separately. They have kits available.
Oh, that's right. But
I didn't. I put the colors together based off of a kit.
Come here.
My goodness. But I love it. I think it came out really, really nice. And it's a very, this sweater's going to last forever. This isn't it with, whatchamacallit?
Lopi. Or
let Lopi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. It's really good.
Yeah. Our camera's, flipped.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. That's why I'm a little bit confused.
Okay. Moving on.
Okay.
So the next question was, it wasn't really a question, but it was more of a statement. So we figured we would do this because this was mentioned to us by Justine a couple weeks ago when we were in Skane, how when we podcast, we don't show enough of the yarn that I dye. So somebody said, please show more of your yarn. So I'll just show you guys some stuff that I worked on this week. None of it's on the website yet because it all needs pictures. So this week when I was dyeing, I have a lot of like extra dye stock or like leftover. So I decided to just do some one of a kinds. So I did this one. So it's just some
so pretty,
light
so
green
soft.
And yellows and some speckles. And I've been using some yarn base. This is an 80/20 that I haven't dyed in a really long time. And I was going for very light colors this time around. And then the next one, and then I did this one, which I really like this one.
I like that one too.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I might try to replicate this because I love, so you have a little bit of like a sagey green here, but then you have a little like more gray in that area, then some brown speckles, and some yellow, like a muddy yellow. So this one,
speckles. The
I
speckles are really
really
nice
like.
in there. They're very subtle.
And then this one here reminds me of like a strawberry or a peach lemonade.
Yeah.
It's actually the yellow's much more highlighter-y in person.
Yeah, it's getting a little washed out.
Yeah. And then the next thing is I had some one-of-a-kinds, and I was like, oh, you know what? I never do sock sets. So I decided to dye up some minis to make some sock sets. So the first one is going to be this one.
I love it.
And then the next mini to go with it. So there'll be some with that. And then there's going to be some with this blue.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
This is actually Florals for Spring. That's just way too saturated. Or not too saturated, but it's much more saturated than it's supposed to be. But yeah, I loved these two. And what was really fun about doing these two colors is that I have all my bobbins upstairs with like that where I test colors. So these were just two that I already had done up, and I just had to write down the recipe and dye them up real quick.
You could also do both of those minis with that. You know, sometimes sock sets have like...
I have 20 of these skeins, and I only have 10 of each of these.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
So yeah, so that's what I dyed this week.
Awesome. All right. Wow, we're plowing through. Oh, it's been a half an hour already. I think we'll answer like 2 questions.
No, we've actually, in one of our responses, we answered 2 and 1 because it was, when did you learn in it and what was the first thing you made?
So somebody had just asked, oh, can you grab a toilet paper? And one of the questions that we get often
sorry, Sky,
is, does Skylar know to go into the cage to go to the bathroom? And when he poops, does he just poop everywhere? The answer is no to the first question and yes to the second question. But parakeet poops are very like small and very solid. So they're very easy to like clean. They're not goopy or anything like that. So you could either like dust them up or vacuum them up.
Yeah.
Just an FYI, because he just pooped on my hand.
But that answered question from Skylar and pet questions.
Perfect.
So next up is favorite meal to cook at home. And since I'm the cook, I can answer that. And that is going to be my favorite thing is soup.
Oh, yeah.
I love the fall and winter when I get to make soup.
Yeah.
The soup I make the most is it's sweet Italian sausage that's cooked. Then I throw in some cannellini beans, some garlic, some broccoli rabe, chicken stock, lemon juice, some lemon zest, and normally serve it with like farfalle pasta.
It's so good. Remember we made a chicken pot pie soup one time.
Chicken pot pie soup,
which was
good.
So good. You take like it's a creamy based soup with potatoes and chicken and corn, all that good stuff, all that unhealthy stuff. And then you take a like a pie crust that you cook in the oven, and you break the pie crust up as like little croutons in the soup. So good.
Yeah, I use the Jiffy boxed pie crust to do that. All right,
you just add water, I think, to the pie crust. It's like super easy.
I think you're right.
Yeah, yes, I agree. I can eat soup all year.
I love soup
and pizza too. I don't know what it is. The past like year, I can have a pizza for every meal and all the time.
Oh, and thank you. And lasagna. I do like my lasagna.
Your lasagna is fantastic. Skylar, you almost hit me in the head.
Does Skylar get into everything? No. He's actually a really good bird. He doesn't get into anything, actually, other than food when we're eating, if we haven't locked him in his cage.
He's very interested in like knitting, though, and I have to be very careful because he did get caught in yarn one time.
Yes.
Not a big deal. Like it was, but it could get like wrapped around his foot or something like that. But he loves to pick at the stitch markers and all those things.
Next up is, have you always lived in Connecticut?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is that a question?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, we didn't win. And like it's funny because we both ended up back in Stratford. It's like, you were always in Stratford?
I was born in Stratford, yeah.
So I was born in Bridgeport. We lived in Bridgeport for a while until I was 10, and then we moved to Stratford. Yeah, because I was in 5th grade when I left that school.
Mm-hmm.
And then we lived in Stratford since I was 10. Then you and I, you lived in a couple of different places.
I only lived in Fairfield and Shelton.
Fairfield and Shelton. And then I moved in with you in Shelton.
And then we bought a house here in Stratford.
Yeah, we were in Shelton for like 14 years or something.
And then Sarah said, Kevin, what's your... Oh my gosh, I just missed it. Something about my lasagna. What's the secret to my lasagna, I think? It was something like that.
Okay.
Is I keep it simple. My sauce is really simple.
And it's not traditional lasagna.
It's not, well, now we know.
Now we know.
Now we know, according to Pasta Grammar, it's not traditional. But I don't use ground beef in my tomato sauce. I use sweet Italian sausage.
Yes.
I use crushed tomatoes.
Yeah.
I only season it with salt, pepper, tomato paste, and garlic and shallots. And for my sweetener, because tomato sauce can be acidic, I used shredded carrots to balance that out. And that's it. That's all that's in my sauce. Nothing crazy. So next up for our knitting and crafting journey. So we did, what was your first shawl? There's two that are kind of similar. What was your first shawl, and which one would you recommend to somebody new? And what are some of your favorite beginner-friendly shawls?
Okay.
My first shawl, I have no idea what the pattern name is. I knit it when my dad was going through chemo. I knit it out of a burgundy yarn. And all I remember is that the border was a lace motif that turned into a leaf. I still haven't been able to...
That's fancy for your first shawl.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things, like after he passed, it was in my like knitting bag, and I had this book bag that I took with me, and I left everything in it for a year or more. It's like something I couldn't touch.
Yeah.
And I still haven't like woven in my ends or blocked it. It's just like somewhere aside because it's just tied to that time.
Yeah.
But I remember that being my first one. I really have no idea. I bet if I went to like my Ravelry library or favorites, it's probably somewhere in there.
I wonder if you can, is there a way to like look in your library from like the earliest entries?
Yeah, you can check by date. Hi, Sky. So
I'm surprised he's talking. Usually he doesn't.
I pulled a couple shawls out for some good like beginner ones. And I think the key to picking a shawl as a beginner is you have to pick something that's going to keep your interest. Mm-hmm. Shawls like sweaters are a commitment. Unless you're doing a one skein shawl, that's not too bad. But I prefer larger shawls. So I think that you have to find one that's going to keep your interest. I think one that's just a straight up garter could get a little monotonous and not
hold your interest
enough. Mm-hmm. So one, which I think this is a good one because it is a DK one.
Well, because I think my first shawl,
which
was also I think a really good pattern for your very first shawl, is the Boneyard by Stephen West. That was my very first shawl, and I ended up striping it with 2 different colors, and it's good because if you are a newer knitter, especially with shawls, and to Kevin's point, to break up the monotony, you had the 2 colors, and then it is stockinette, but it's worsted weight. Although I think that there is a smaller weight now. Sorry to frustrate you, Skylar. That was Kevin who dropped something on the floor. But I think that that's a really good pattern. I gave that to my mom, so I don't have that anymore. But Boneyard definitely is it's a very early Stephen West pattern.
This is actually my second shawl, and I think it's a good beginner one. Is Groove by Stephen West.
Huh. You would recommend that as a...
Yep, because it's the cables are only a 2x2 cable.
Yeah.
They're really quick. This is knit out of the fiber company Acadia yarn. And it's garter. Yeah. You start here, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's an I-cord bind off. So you start here. So it grows. You have some yarn overs before and after your cable, and that's it. So it's a 2-color shawl. The buttons are on here to go through any of the yarn over so that you can button it up and it won't fall off. So I think this is, and it's quick compared to slip stravaganza. So this would be a good option for a beginner friendly one.
Yeah.
Maybe not a beginner knitter, but beginner friendly shawl. And then another one in the same
this one
kind of vein is, this is Clockwork. So this is just slip stitches, right? So you don't have to worry about cabling, but it's just a 2-color.
And it's more scarf-like than shawl.
Right.
So your rows do get pretty long.
They do.
But it's well worth it. We just had our, not too long ago, our Clockwork.
Oh, yeah.
Knit along.
And another good option, and this one I'm picking because it's DK, so it's quick. And this is Paris Toujours by Isabel Kramer. And it is just garter and yarn overs. There's also a fingering weight version of this one, but it's one of my favorite shawls. This is yarn I dyed. It's a one of a kind. It's like one of the first.
We keep saying like
colors
I
wish ever dyed. But this is a fun pattern. Do you know I knit this? Did I knit this one? No.
You knit it a while ago.
I feel like I knit this when we were watching the documentary about the girl in the water tower.
Really?
Yeah.
I was doing a brioche one during that one. A brioche project.
But this is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's Aaron's too. I heard about this from Aaron, I think.
And actually, I obviously saw you do that. And so I knit one as well. And it's one of my favorite shawls. Hands down. It is super easy. This is the second shawl that I have knit. And this is one that I would absolutely recommend to everybody.
And I think this is a good beginner.
I do too. This is absolutely a great beginner shawl. This is the Pure Joy by Joji Locatelli. And I did see this on the Grocery Girls, is where I remember when the pattern first came out. And the two of them, Jody and Tracy, were both knitting this. And I remember them joking and saying, oh, it is a pure joy to knit. And it honestly is. There's something about this shawl that is so much fun to knit. And if you can get some, use really, really good yarn for this, because it's such a great project. It's
a good pattern.
Yeah, it really is a great project. I love this. I've knit 2 of these now.
I think I've knit 3.
The second one that I knit was with Mayak. Remember we did the Joji Locatelli?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This one, and this yarn is Leading Men Fiber Arts. And in their, I'm not sure what the name of their base is called, but it's their MCN. It is so freaking soft and squishy.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right. Next up question.
Okay.
And I'm going out of order, just so you know.
I didn't know we were.
How do you feel about your yarn stash? Does it feel like the right size and variety, or how would you like to change it?
Okay.
So this is a really good question. It comes up a bit too. Like, we get asked sometimes if it makes us feel overwhelmed, or even watching other podcasters.
Yeah.
We do tend to talk about our stash a lot because a lot of the times it's behind us, or we buy yarn and we're showing it. So I would say ours does not make me feel overwhelmed. When I see what's behind us, I also have to realize that that's the stash for 2 people. Mm-hmm. And it's really nice that we have accumulated different types of yarns. We have plenty of superwash, we have plenty of acrylic, we have plenty cotton, and we have plenty non-superwash. So we have enough to, if there's a project we want to make, with the exception of a sweater, we have enough yarn to do something.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I wouldn't change anything of it. I do notice how my taste has changed.
And this will lead us into that another question.
Yeah, I think this is gonna kind of a combo of 2 questions. I think it shows how my taste has changed. I find that currently I buy more non-superwash yarn, or I don't buy a lot of single skeins. If I'm going to buy superwash, it's multiple skeins of the same color, because sometimes it's like, oh, what am I going to do with this one pretty skein? Like, yeah, there's a lot of great one skein patterns, but I don't know. I like it because when we want to make something for the nieces and nephews, like, we just have to go to our stash and there's typically something there that we can grab.
Right. And I agree with that. I would say I don't have any regrets of what's in our stash. I do agree too that my tastes have changed. I think I'm very much in your boat where I lean more towards a non-superwash base, or more of like tonals.
Yeah.
Or lightly speckled or lightly variegated instead of those highly variegated and speckled yarns. I think it might also be because I have like issues seeing colors. And so like the more colors and stuff within a variegated yarn, the muddier they become a little bit for me. And it becomes a little bit harder for me to put that yarn and that colorway with another color.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So like I have a hard time if I were standing in front of our stash, putting together colors from stash for like a large project where you need like 5 or 6 skeins of yarn. I would have a hard time kind of pulling those all out.
Oh yeah,
you see, like heavily speckled.
I know there's a mosquito.
Oh no, there is.
Hi.
Bummer. So I think that's it. And then we basically answered the other question. Just another question that was very similar.
It said, how have your crafts or your taste changed over time? Are there any projects, yarns, or notions you used to love that you've moved away from, or things you didn't enjoy as a beginner but you love now? I think I think we did a good job answering that, because
me too.
My taste in projects hasn't changed. I'm still like a shawl and hat guy at heart.
Yeah.
I do socks and I do sweaters every now and again, but I am a shawl and hat guy.
Yeah.
My yarn again has changed a little bit, where I go a lot more non-superwash now, because I have plenty of superwash. I think that's why that has changed. And my notions really haven't changed.
My notions haven't really changed either. But one thing that has changed for me, I think, is not how much I like them, but how much I use and like what types of bags that I use for my knitting projects.
That's
point. Definitely changed for me.
Yes.
I was very much using like project bags with like zippers and really, really fun fabrics. And though I still will, like for, like an added layer, like I put it in a Christmas bag or whatever.
Right.
I much prefer those bucket style bags that'll like sit next to me open. Like Gussie Bag Co. Actually, I have one here. Is one of my absolute favorites.
Hi.
And this is the style that I really prefer now.
Hello.
Is a bucket style bag like this with the pockets in the front, because I keep trying to move the bag or to move the stuff where I would think it go in the camera, but it's backwards. And I just love that. It sits right next to me on the couch while I'm sitting. I usually sit over there. So everything's to the right of me, which makes it very, very easy for me to like, because then the knitting is coming from the right hand side and I hold my knitting in my right anyway.
There was another one that kind of had to do with like our stash, but it said, do we have like a budget, or how do we handle stash at a yarn festival? And I let the festival speak to me, and I do whatever the festival tells me I need to do and purchase when I'm there. So that's how I handle yarn events.
Mm-hmm. And I think for us, we will talk about any like anticipated large spending. Like last Rhinebeck, we knew that Kevin was going to be bringing home Trisket. Trisket is Kevin's e-spinner. And
Trisket
so we
may get a friend this year. I'm just saying.
Well, we have to talk about it. You just missed my point where we talk about those big purchases prior to us buying them. But we're usually, I think as time goes by as well, we definitely, I think, well, maybe not. I don't know. I feel like we're more reserved with our yarn purchases than we were in like the very beginning. There was a lot of piggery going on.
Yeah, I
when
think
we needed to
buy much less now.
I think so too. And one of the things that we do say, and to go back to our stash question, is we do have a lot of yarn in our stash. So what are you going to use that for? I think we're being more intentional with our purchases. At least I am.
No, I think so.
Yeah. Finding a project for them.
I know.
It's just so remembering what the project was for that yarn.
Hi. Okay. All right.
Did that make sense? I feel like I just talked in circles. I guess I frequently talk in circles. All right. Do we have a question from the audience out there? Any questions? I mean, we still have a bunch on our list, but let's go back and see if we're to catch up on some of these comments, because there's quite a bit. And I know we've said thank you already, but Michael, honest to God, you and Aaron, thank you both so much for moderating and putting in notes and keeping people on track.
And Michael and I are now allowed to be together at festivals because bad things happen.
Favorite superhero, Superman has always been my favorite superhero. Matter of fact, my tattoo on my right arm is the Superman logo.
All right, we're gonna do rapid fire. Ray's shirt is from Redbubble.
Oh yeah. It's the Knitter tarot card.
Every year for Rhinebeck, we buy new knitting shirts, and I find them on Redbubble, so that's a good place to go because they're independent shops. So check them out. Hi, I know. Can you please tell about your favorite needs? So here's the thing. I was actually thinking about this because we had a question kind of like that. I don't think that there's anything specifically that you need to knit outside of knitting needles. I think I don't have a favorite need. My favorite needles are Chagus. Interchangeables, my favorite.
Are you saying favorite need?
It said need. Yeah.
Do they mean needles? Or
I don't know.
Need as in
It just said, hold on, let me find the question. Kelsey asked, how do we meet? I hate to say this, but we that was our first or second question, I think, that we asked at the beginning. So once this is up, it will be there. Where did look right here? Can you please tell about your favorite needs? Oh no, don't be sorry. So, needles. Yes. Thank you. So favorite needles are definitely my interchangeable or Chagus.
Because I can argue that I have my favorite need is a pizza or something.
You're just hungry.
I'm starving.
So
we did eat lunch though. We did eat. I
did.
promise, Kate, if you're watching, we did eat.
So you definitely Chagus for interchangeable.
Interchangeable Chagus.
Fixed, which is actually only just for hats, are Addies.
Yep.
I don't like Addie cords beyond a 16-inch cord.
Correct.
So those are my favorites.
Yeah, mine too. I would prefer the Forte probably over the lace needles, the metal lace needles, if they came in a 4-inch tip.
I would probably get them if they had a 4-inch tip as well. Here's one. What's one of the things you learned since starting the podcast that you wished you knew when you started? This is all right. Regarding the podcast itself,
see, I wouldn't change anything because if we could sit here for 3 hours and talk about what the journey was for us and what it meant and continues to mean to us.
Yeah.
And so I think every little step along the way was one of those core memories almost, and learning moments, and we're still learning. I don't know. I don't know if there's things that I wish I knew before, because I think our story is very we're very lucky with how everything went for us. It was very it was very natural and like
I think what it taught
organic,
me, though,
I guess.
I think what it taught me more than anything was how it taught me more about community, because
Yeah, for
prior
sure.
to starting the podcast, I didn't feel like I was part of a knitting community. I didn't know, and I didn't know how to become part of one,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like, I didn't know about knitting groups. Ravelry was so, even now, Ravelry to me sometimes is so hard to navigate.
I think so too.
But I remember when I first just started knitting, like trying to find patterns was so difficult on Ravelry because, again, I didn't see patterns that I would knit for myself.
Mhm.
But I do love that we knew nothing. Literally started on my cell phone, front-facing camera, propped up on two books in a box at the edge of a desk. No microphone. It's angled weird. It's kind of like this. And I think that's the best way to do it. So this is going to be actually answer kind of another question. So there was a question in there that kind of was like, what's a piece of advice that you would give to a knitter? It's always going to be just do it.
Yeah.
If it's starting a podcast, just do it. If it's trying brioche, just do it. If it's you want to knit a sweater, just do it. Knitting is 2 stitches, knit and purl. That's all it is. And everything else about knitting is how you manipulate those 2 switches or stitches. That's all brioche is, all cable is. Like, you just have to do it. You just have to give it a try. And the worst thing that happens is, yeah, Nike said it best. Just do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
but I think, and again, like somebody had made a comment, like the right microphone, lighting, all of that stuff is important, and 100%. So if we were to ever start a second podcast, we would take everything that we know now about like what's working for us, right, and kind of like recreate that. And if people ask us for advice about like once they get started, because I'm hesitant to, like Kevin said, just do it. Like I would never recommend somebody, okay, well, before you start, you need to make sure that you have
this,
X,
that,
Y,
right.
and Z. Just get out there. That's the number one thing.
You don't need the best equipment.
No.
Like, even to start knitting.
You can, down the line for sure.
Right. You don't need Chaogu needles. My first interchangeable set was the Dreams by Knitter's Pride. And there's still some of my favorites. I have them and I love them.
Mm.
I love those wood needles. I use their DPNs on my blanket all the time. So whatever's going to get you started is what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if all you have is a phone, then record on your phone. Your microphone is enough. And I think you have to make a decision early on, though, I think is the most important thing, of what you want your podcast to be like.
Yeah.
Or, like I went in knowing that I was not going to edit. And I knew that there were topics that I wasn't going to speak about. And one of the other things I said is I never wanted to speak poorly about a pattern, a yarn, a designer. I could not enjoy something and I can speak about it and not be hateful towards that, whatever it is, that subject. So it was really important for me to make sure that I stayed on track with those couple of things. But other than that, I was just like, I'm just going to do it. And I remember it was a Wednesday because Ray was at work.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the house to myself. And Ray bugged me about starting it. And I was like, that's it. I'm just going to go do it. I'm just going upstairs in the office, same room that we recorded now, and hit play or record.
Yeah. Anyway, again, like I said, we can talk for hours about what it is, but not that what we do is perfect by any means. Like, there are so many different ways to do things. I mean, look at Aaron's on for Fiber Hustle. They have a very polished, if you don't follow Fiber Hustle, for sure follow Fiber Hustle. They have a very polished podcast. They've got overhead cameras and, to the nines, but that's what works for them. That's what they enjoy doing. Michael also on here, he does edit in his podcast as well. There are just, you all do, you do you and you do your different things. But that, like Kevin said, that will come after. just push record. Take a moment after you're done to just check in with yourself. How did that feel? Is this something that I want to continue to do it? Did I enjoy it? And if you did, then you grow it. Just like we do, like Kevin said, with the needles. Like, pick up your needles, learn how to knit, and say, okay, did I like that? Great. Now I can buy more expensive needles.
Yeah.
You know.
I was going to actually pull another question that I just saw.
Okay.
Because you and I talked about this, and we thought it was a really good question when it came through. One of the questions we got was, do we monetize our channel?
Oh.
And we do.
Yes.
And there was a little bit more into it about, like, this person didn't feel that we had a lot of, like, ads through our episodes, and that's very intentional. But it is tricky. So with YouTube, this happened to us a couple of years ago. So to monetize your channel, you get the option of putting ads before, after, and in the middle of your episodes. So YouTube had changed something a couple of years ago, and all of our old episodes, for some reason, just started getting ads put in like every 2 to 3 minutes or something like that. So we had to go through and we had to monetize or like change our ad thing and just put it at the beginning and the end. There is an option to do, it's called mid-roll ads on YouTube. And if you select it, YouTube still chooses how many ads they're going to put in. So they still will put them in about every 2 to 3 minutes, which is excessive. So we have to go through and manually pick ours. So I try to put it in maybe like after, I don't know, like a half an hour, 45 minutes, and do one like every half hour, 45 minutes, if that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they still go at the beginning and the end. I'm actually not sure. But yeah.
Yeah.
We started doing that, I think, as soon as we could.
Right. And it's not like, yes, we get like the revenue from it. It's nothing extravagant in the slightest, and that's not our intention when it comes to that. Otherwise we would have ads every like 2 minutes.
But it does help with
yes,
trips to Rhinebeck or trips
for
to
sure.
This yarn festival or whatever. So it does help cover the cost of some of the events and things that we do.
And somebody did ask if YouTube Premium, because there are no ads, I believe with that we still do get monetized channels will still get ad revenue, even if you're not seeing the ads.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to a. All right, here's one. What pattern would you suggest for a first sweater? So I think a good option for first sweaters. I personally feel like a top down because you get to try it on as you go. Mm-hmm. Bottom up sweaters, they have their benefits, but top down for your first one, I think, is key in my opinion. My first top down sweater, I think that would be easy. One that I would recommend is Cozy Classic Raglan.
I was going to say the same.
I think that's a really good basic sweater. I'm trying to think if there's any in our bundle that I did.
Well, I mean, I think now with the change to the neckline of
flax,
yep, I think that's a really great sweater pattern as well. That's by Tin Can Knits. Tin Can Knits has amazing pattern support and extra tutorials and tips and tricks and all that stuff. I believe the flax is that a free pattern?
Yes. Let's look through here.
I think, I mean, honestly, like
Sky,
a simple, any sweater pattern could probably be a really good beginner pattern, as long as it doesn't have a ton of different techniques that you're going to be having to manage outside of like just knitting to your measurements and learning how to do a raglan and sleeve decreases and separating and things.
I bet another good one would be now So Basic
So
DK.
Basic, absolutely.
I think the So Basic DK would probably be another good option.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
And I just want to look at. There was one that I saw that looked like it might be a good one.
Use the Tin Can Knits app for your first sweater. Hands down the easiest. Absolutely. Yep. Tin Can Knits has a free app. on it's on Apple and the Microsoft Store or whatever.
Yeah, this one looks like it might be good. I feel like this was recommended to me. It is the Men's Classic Raglan Pullover by Jane Richmond.
That's the one that I knit my whatchamacallit sweater out of. The
Breakfast one?
Nope, the orange and the white.
Oh, yeah.
What the heck? What's
Your
the
loops.
My loops. Loop Studio.
Yeah.
Loops. I can't remember.
So I would go with those. I think those would be some good.
Any classic raglan, I think, is really good.
Would be a good
Easy
option.
Like Sunday Morning looks like somebody had recommended.
I know. You're so angry. I know. Hello.
He wants undivided attention.
I know.
Flax has a new neckline.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how. Yes, over the past 10 years, new.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not.
It used to
as
only
wide.
be that boat neck. And now there's like a crew neck version. And there's a lot of and they also changed from when we started. They added short rows, some instructions for short rows if you choose that you want to have some short rows to that pattern as well.
Correct. So question there was, are you guys going to Flock Festival this year? We actually just decided we aren't going to go.
Swing it.
And the reason for is because then we are going on a cruise in September, and then we have Rhinebeck in October. Yeah. So having 3 kind of back to back, and I have a trunk show that I'm planning for September. So August would be like my die month for that.
Yeah, things get expensive. Y'all, cruises, we've never been on a cruise before, so I'm a little bit anxious about it. I think I just have to keep talking about it. You probably heard me talking how anxious I am already. But we just had to come out of pocket, like
money for the cruise. We had to finish paying it.
Yeah.
No, it's not a knitting cruise. Our friends are getting married.
Yeah.
So we're going on the cruise for their wedding. It's actually really quick. It's only a 4 to 5 day cruise.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna go to Bermuda.
So let's do this one. Do you have any suggestions for getting out of a knitting slump? I think the best way is to do something else. Mm-hmm. I think a knitting slump, sometimes you just have to knit like a brand new pattern, just cast on. But I do think if you're crafty and you have other hobbies, doing that or something else, like playing a video game or
going for a walk
or drawing or, something like that, I feel like you need to do something creative to get back to being creative in your knitting. So if I'm not in the mood to knit, I spin or I'll crochet because they are, it is quite, to me, that's a bit different. Or I'll dye yarn.
Yeah.
Or I'll play a video game. So I think you have to do something to get out of the knitting slump. You can't just expect it to happen.
Don't force it.
Right. You don't force it. I think a lot of the times our knitting slumps actually have to do with the projects that we have.
Yes. Sometimes cast on a new project.
That's what I think. I think having a new project is probably the best way to do.
Mm-hmm. It's okay to put things on hold. I mean,
dishcloth is a good one. Andrew,
I don't know if the dishcloth would do it for me, though. I think you would have to do something that you feel that comfort knit with.
So mine would be like a hatch hat.
Yeah.
I would.
Or you've done a lot of I've done a lot of dishcloths too, but it's not
my dishcloth.
let me just cast on a dishcloth.
Andrea said, what games am I liking? Right now, I'm currently playing Marvel Rivals and Dune Awakening. And yesterday I played Dune Awakening for 4 hours, and that's the most I've sat down to play a video game in a really long time.
I know, he came down
a really long time.
He was like, I kind of want to still play. I'm like, why can't you play? We're good.
One of the questions too was, what was our most expensive yarn that we bought?
Oh,
mine is, I had to look at this. Mine is Moondrake Fua Fua. So I used the Moondrake Fua Fua in this shawl by Max. This is the Moon Bumps shawl by Maxim Spear, Max the Knitter.
That's your second version?
This is my first one. My second one is still a whip.
That's right.
This was probably, I would say this might be my most expensive knit item I have here. I could be wrong because this is with Fua Fua and Spin Cycle. And Fua Fua is cashmere and alpaca, I think.
Brushed alpaca.
It's
Or
cashmere,
brushed
and
something.
yeah,
Something
I know
brushed.
there's cashmere in it. And Spin Cycle is expensive too because both of these are only 50-gram balls.
Yeah. I have a skein or two of, just thought about it. It's also cashmere.
Clinton Hill.
Clinton Hill. Those
right.
skeins are very expensive.
They are.
It's 100% cashmere. I haven't touched it yet. There's a hat, but again, it's only a 50-gram ball.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was thinking like, yeah, let me do a hat, but I'm a little bit nervous to do a hat because will I wear a cashmere hat all the time?
Yes.
Like enough? I will.
Oh, Kim.
Well, Kim had to take out a second mortgage for the yarn. That
I
she
still love
purchased.
this story. It's one of my
I think
favorite
it's
stories.
hysterical.
That
Cracks was
me
a
up
lot of fun.
every time.
Yeah. And wasn't it all white? Isn't it all white yarn?
Yeah.
Which probably is smart. You're not gonna wear it as often, maybe.
Let's see. What else do we have here? All right, how about this? Were you two always creative people? What are some of your first or favorite crafty, creative, artsy memories? I would say, yeah, like I remember doing, all right, so the crochet and the knitting, like my grandfather tried to teach me.
Yeah.
My aunt taught me cross stitch. I used to do plastic canvas stuff, like make the
That's right.
tissue box holders.
Yeah.
Used to do like the friendship bracelets with the embroidery floss.
Oh, I remember those.
And like I drew a little bit here or there, and then I got into photography. So yeah, it's actually really interesting because I talk about this with Ray sometimes too. I remember as a child, my dad told me, like I remember like reading a book and my father saying to me that I couldn't imagine what was going on in the book because I wasn't a creative person. And that stuck with me so much. Like I still sometimes think that I'm not creative, which is weird, because here I am obviously knitting and dyeing yarn and coming up with like color palettes.
Sure.
But for a really long time, I didn't think I was creative, that I was too logical to be creative.
I love that there's conversation happening in the chat based off of our questions as well, which is so good.
Oh my gosh. Sarah, I know what you're talking about. You used to make the keychains, you would weave it. I was actually just thinking about this with Reese the other day. Like she had something and I thought about that. It was a plasticky material. You would start with a knot. You'd have 4 colors. You would do a loop. GIMP?
Oh, GIMP. I remember GIMP.
Yeah, GIMP. For sure. Yes. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Let's go. All right, here we go. Any tips to learn how to knit? I think YouTube, as Michael calls it, YouTube University is fantastic. I think you have to pick a project that is something you want a finished product of, right? I think you have to watch YouTube and you have to try different channels. Not every tutorial is going to work for you. Sometimes I watch Fairy Pink Knits. Sometimes I watch Andrea Mowry or Stephen West or Brooklyn Tweed or Pearl Soho. Those are my 5 go-tos.
I would expand on that and say find your learning style first. Identify how you learn the best. Because you can watch as many YouTube channels and videos and things as you want, but if you're not a visual learner, it's going to be difficult for you. So whatever makes sense for you, like what your learning style is, because sometimes, unfortunately, maybe a video may not. Maybe you need one-on-one training. Maybe you need to see it. Maybe you need to be hand over hand. I think the majority of people are visual and video auditory learners. So that's probably why YouTube works for a lot of us. And that's how we kind of learned if we didn't have somebody to show us. But sometimes it may not work for everybody. So find what works, what your learning style is first. And then within that style, shop around, whether it be on videos or different instructors or different learn how to knit classes. That's what I would say.
All right. Furthest place we've traveled to and what's your bucket list destination? So our furthest place is Seattle.
Yeah.
I have 4 bucket list countries that I would like to go to. One is England, Ireland, Greece, and Italy are bucket list places.
I am 100% there with you. I'm trying to think. Do I have any other bucket list countries? Those are the biggest ones.
And Ray, while we're here, why do you say psh after whips?
Oh, it's my whip sound. It's really like whoopsh.
Like a whip.
Like a whip. Whoopsh.
When he does it, it reminds me of Indiana Jones with his whip.
Yeah. Whoopsh. Doesn't that sound like a whip? Whoopsh.
So much so. It's amazing. I see it in my head.
Look how quick.
I know. So fast.
So fast.
What is each of our favorite animals?
My favorite animal has always been an elephant. Don't know why. I think that they're so interesting.
Do you know what mine is?
Yours is a fox. I have no idea.
That's a good one. Fox and dolphins are my favorite.
I was going to say dolphins.
I love a bottlenose dolphin.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to love orca whales and then realized that they are mean AF and they eat seals and they knock them off. Mean. They knock them off those icebergs.
Yeah, they're very mean.
Very bad. Free Willy was not like that.
No. Ray, a question for you.
That movie lied to us.
Are you still doing much needle felting?
No, I haven't felt it in a little while. And it's funny because I really want to get back to doing it. I have 2 things that I want to do. One of them is a kit that we got. It's like a picture,
that Michael, he did his Monstera.
Yeah, Michael did it. His Monstera one. I have like a landscape type of scene, I think.
I have an owl.
Yeah, yours is gorgeous. And then I want to do a couple more gnomes. There was something. Yeah, I need to get back to doing that. But I don't know where I think I'm going to have all of this free time from, but without doing homework, maybe I will have a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have just the mental space. I think that's probably what it is. I just didn't have enough mental space. I'll have the same amount of time probably, but just not like the mental space.
No, but you're going to have time from not doing homework.
Yeah. Like now I want to learn how to spin. I'm cranking out 10 sock tubes right now. Just throwing that out there for anybody who's listening in this channel who might be a moderator. There's I'm on tube number 2. But anyway, what else? What's next?
All right, must have knitting tool for every project bag. This is actually funny because I don't have anything in my project bags unless I'm leaving the house. Mm-hmm. And here's kind of what I have to take with me. It's one of these. Where did I put them all? Oh, these. One of these 3 things has to come with me. Either my thread and maple thing. So it has stitch markers in here. Scissors, darning needle.
And stitch markers are in there too.
Yeah. Acreworks. My tape measure's not in there, or my scissors actually. But gauge ruler, needle gauges, typically scissors, ruler, stitch markers, and darning needles. Or my Bits and Bobs by Always Queenie Believe.
Mm-hmm. I have 2 of those.
A zipper.
Yeah.
And it has scissors, darning needle, safety pins, stitch markers, a pen, a pocket. So if I'm leaving with my knitting, one of these 3 things are with me. But other than that, at home, they're literally, this is where I knit, actually where Ray's sitting. So they're right here behind me.
Yeah. I also have my, knitting posse. Friends, we got to get together soon. I know it's on us, so we'll have to figure some time out. Promise. Just send us an invite. We'll pencil you in.
We've tried to schedule stuff.
All right, give us a range of dates, and we'll make it work. Anyway, cannot recommend this more. This was one of my very first knitting Notion kit that I've ever had.
I bought my first one from Knit New Haven.
Yep. I've had to replace the needle gauge one time, or the gauge one time.
I've done twice.
Yeah. And I love it because it's magnets. So I have a Razcog that sits next to my my couch, and it stays there at all times. I will take this one with me when I'm traveling with a small project bag like this. And that's all I'm taking with me. I'll put this in the project bag as well. Yes, Skylar, right? What do you think?
Take it with I knew I heard him. I was wondering where it was.
And then if I have a larger project bag, or I'm taking my bucket with me, I will have my Always Queenie Believe, which I'll show you in a second. And then this, if you've seen us out and about at any like fiber events or whatever, this is what we take with us most of the time. This is the DelaQ messenger bag. And I love this because there's so many different, there's my work phone. I was looking for that. Hopefully I don't have, oh no. I have to look at that in a second. One of my managers, his wife just had a baby this morning. He texted me last night. So in here, I don't know if anybody cares, but I have an extra pack of gum. I have a charger. I have some cough drops.
Cough drops are key.
Are key.
We always bring cough drops with us.
If you're talking a lot, we find that cough drops Ricola works really, really well.
Hi.
In the back here, I don't think I have. I have my car keys. It's usually what I do there. But what I like about this, so this is one of my Always Queenie Believe. So this stays with this bag. So if I'm bringing this bag, I know I already have one of these, and I don't need to grab my second one. My second one lives on my Razcog, and I grab that and put it in the outside of my bucket bag. Isn't it funny, like what we do? But same as Kevin, except I have a couple of extra things in here. I have like a stitch fixer, an extra measuring tape. I have some needle stoppers, stitch stoppers in here. I also have pony bead lacing or barber cord.
Yep.
Just in case. What's on this side? More barber cords.
And another thing we always have is lotion.
Yep, I'll get to that in a second.
Some type of lotion.
So that's usually in this section here. I also have hand sanitizer, because you never know. And I'm a nurse.
I didn't know this turned into an EDC.
Is this what it is?
Yeah, your everyday carry.
Everyday carry. I have some extra darning needles. I don't know why.
Ray's extra. He also brings 25 projects with him, a new skein just in case he wants to cast something on.
You never know.
All of his needles.
Don't judge, okay? And then lotion. Zavino. It's a really good lotion, I think. I have a chapstick. Isn't this fun? It's a giant chapstick. I think it's actually called Giant Chapstick. Offensively large sunscreen lip balm. And I have some tissues in here as well. And then this is the pocket that I usually put my project in, because there's nothing else to like really snag it. But those are I think our go-to Notions / must-haves.
All right. We're going to do, because we only have 5 minutes left, so we're not going to pull from any of these anymore. We'll do some rapid fire that come up in chat, and because we'll end it at 3:30.
5-minute warning. Oh yeah, okay, and we'll end at 3:30. That sounds great.
Yep.
This was really fun. This went really fast. Okay. Skylar is cute, noisy, and burst. Yes, he is very noisy.
Somebody had asked, did we teach Skylar to talk? Yes. He says, Skylar, hello. What you doing?
Pretty bird.
Pretty bird. I think that's it. Maybe. All right. Let's see.
Yeah.
What's the name of the website again? Red Bubble.
Oh, for the shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you still use the wooden box?
That wooden box is actually at work. And I had delusions of grandeur when I brought it into work. I do not have time to knit at work.
Pam asks, do I like knitting with my own yarn? I do, and I don't do it enough.
Yeah.
That's probably the only reason or time that our stash stresses me out, because it's like, oh, I feel like I need to knit everything with my yarn, but I also have a stash, so I have to find a better balance of that.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian, Kevin, what do you use as a leader on your spinner? I use cotton yarn. It's over there. I just have some like buttercup cotton, or even stuff I got from Joanne or Michael. And I use just some cotton yarn for my leader. I use a pretty long leader though. I like to be able to check my tension prior to starting to spin.
Yeah. How do you keep Skylar from pooping all over the house? We don't,
but I will say probably 85% of the time it's in his cage. If it's not in his cage, it's on us. Honestly. What's your next fiber festival? That will be Rhinebeck. Will actually be India Entangled, but Rhinebeck weekend.
Right. India Entangled is our next.
What is your next trunk show? That one should be in September. I don't have a date. That one's a surprise right now, I think.
But there will be some really cool things that we're going to be bringing.
Yeah, probably asked before, but what do you do for your job? So Ray is a nurse manager.
Director.
That's right. My bad. I'm a yarn dyer.
Yes. I really dislike blocking. Can you give me any suggestions? You can block things differently. You don't have to do a wet block. You could do a steam block. You could just mist something and let it hang out if you want to, or you as you're manipulating the stitches, there's Skylar's Heine over the camera.
Bird butt.
You have to be able to like loosen up your project. Depends on the yarn that you're using, for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes wearing it will help too, if it's like a hat or a sweater or socks.
Like I don't block my socks. I wear them before washing them, and then I'll wash them, and then that's it. I'm
gonna do a real rapid fire.
And sometimes I don't block hats either.
All right, so paper pattern or iPad, typically iPad for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Shop Hop, that's right. I-91
Shop Hop. That's in August, I think, right?
Yeah, no, August is coming up for Connecticut people.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
I know. Think you'll ever have a booth at a fiber festival? If Kate and Michael have anything to say about it, we will. Favorite yarn to use for gift knits? Superwash, because they can wash and dry them.
Or a really nice acrylic yarn too.
Yes.
I think that, like, I just finished a blanket in acrylic yarn. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Are you planning to go to Knit City, Toronto next year? No, because our hopes would be to do Flock. Our initial plan was to do Flock on the off years of Knit City, Montreal. And I think that's probably going to be the thing that works best for us. So that will hopefully be how that goes going forward. Do you ship to England? We do. It should be an option for shipping on our website. Actually, that could be a lie now. There were some changes that were made some countries in Europe with things that needed to be on the labels, and I had to remove a bunch of countries from Europe. I don't remember if England was one of those, though.
I don't think it was.
I don't think so, but I don't remember. Do we go to knitting retreats? We've never been to one. I wouldn't be opposed to going to one, though.
Would I.
Or hosting one day.
That would be really fun. Would you all come? Do you think we can, like, how does that work?
Hi. What are you doing? All right. I think, are you joining in on the Tour de Fleece spin along? I mean, I'm going to spin during Tour de Fleece. I'm not part of like any official Tour de Fleece groups or following along. I didn't do much prepping for it or anything. So I will be spinning though. Hi.
All right.
All right.
That's it.
That is it.
So this was fun. Skylar, I thought, was pretty well behaved.
Yeah, he wasn't
He
bad.
as loud as we expected him to be. But I'm glad that he hung out with everybody. You got a chance to see him. He's a very sweet bird. He loves people. So if you ever come over and you don't mind, he will probably land on your shoulder.
I'm going to do this real quick just because somebody asked and it was on the list. If we were looking for a new house closer to Ray's job, we really haven't been.
No. All right. I just gave you a compliment.
But who knows? Like, it's not something that's off the table, but not something we're actively looking for right now.
Right.
All right. So with that, we will say goodbye. Thank you guys for coming in and chatting with us and being active in the chat.
Can you say 9-inch circular needles?
Michael and Aaron, thank you very much for moderating and for all the links. You guys are amazing. And we will be back in
a fortnight.
2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. So I screwed us up. But this is our live.
So, yes. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. We hope you have a good fortnight.
No, that's not what you say.
Oh, my God.
You say, we will see you in 2 weeks. No. We hope you have a good 2 weeks.
We'll see you in a fortnight. Bye, guys.